Viewers, India's tour of Australia has time and again been marred with controversies, and this time too, it's no different. On the last day of the fourth test of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, India's hope to stay afloat was on the young shoulders of a 23-year-old Yashasvi Jaiswal. He held the fort with 84 runs to his name before he was dismissed by a controversial decision. Australia reviewed an on-field caught-behind decision, which the third umpire overturned despite the snickometer showing no edge. This decision sparked a massive debate. BCCI Vice President Rajiv Shukla said Jaiswal was clearly not out and that umpires should rely on technology when it's there. However, Rohit Sharma had a different view, who felt that Jaiswal had touched the ball. But that's not the only controversy that made headlines. From KL Rahul's dismissal in the first test to Siraj versus Travis Head's heated exchange to Kohli Constant's shoulder bump to Travis Head's celebration gesture, which many found extremely offensive. There was an entire series which has been dominated by controversies. And joining us now at the moment is, in fact, former Indian wicketkeeper Syed Kirmani, a man who was part of the World Cup winning squad as well, is with us. Mr. Kirmani, thank you so much for joining us. Controversy surrounding the Yashasvi Jaiswal dismissal during the Boxing Day test has ignited significant debate. In Jaiswal's case, the decision was overturned by the umpire based solely on a naked eye judgment, despite the absence of a deviation on the snickometer. And meanwhile, in Akashdeep's case, for instance, the decision was overturned even though the snicko provided clear evidence. What is your perspective on these decisions and the role of technology in such instances?
Greetings to all of you, first of all, for the Christmas which is gone, and round the corner is the New Year's celebrations of 2025. And I would like to wish all those viewers the very best of 2025 with good health, happiness, and long life. Right? And now coming on to what you have asked me now, to me, you see, you can't trust anybody in this world. First question, answer, right? You cannot be depending on the technology because technology also has misfired on many a times. You see, instead of the red button, the third umpire also has committed a mistake by pressing the green button. Right? All these mistakes do happen, so that on those lines, you cannot trust anybody. Nobody is perfect. Everybody is fallible. Every human is fallible, bound to commit a mistake somewhere down the line. Right? So on those bases, it is very unfortunate that the decision of Yashasvi Jaiswal was turned the other way, and the match took a drastic change where the Indian team could have probably saved that match. Due to that decision, probably, you see, the bowlers took over the entire match, and that's where we faced the problem. And let me also, having said all these things, the entire series has been very erratic from both the sides. You see, the first innings have been very low scoring by both the teams, and then the second innings, it has been a lot of fluctuations in the game, and I'm sure there has been some kind of a, ill feeling amongst the players also with these kind of mistakes and being committed here and there. And that's where the whole series is getting into a controversial kind of a thing, like which should not have happened. Right. But all said and done, from my side, I think it is very important to take things in the right spirit of the game and the right spirit as a gentleman's game. Right. So to keep up the gentleman's game spirit, I think it has to be accepted by and large, not to get into misunderstandings with one another. Right.
Also, I'm just quoting the rules now. This is section 336 and section 337 of the Appendix D of the World Test Championship playing conditions, because it says that if the third umpire is unable to decide with a high degree of confidence whether the original on-field decision should be changed, they must report the replays as inconclusive and let the on-field decision stand. Given this, do you believe that the third umpire adhered to these guidelines in the case of Jaiswal?
Yes, all those guidelines are there with them, but in that particular spur of the moment on the field or with the third umpire who is looking into the video on slow motions, you see all these things put together. It is the mistake. If it is so, it is the mistake, and you'll have to accept that. You see, the rules, the guidelines do say this is the rule. But that spur of the moment, you don't turn around the guidelines or the instructions given by the ICC ruling.
Right. In the first test match, there was a controversial decision then as well when Australia reviewed a caught behind appeal against KL Rahul. The stickometer showed a spike as the ball passed the bat, but with the bat also touching the pad, the source of the spike was unclear. The umpire then sought front-on and offside angles which were not provided, adding to the confusion, and ultimately the umpire overturned the on-field decision which sparked a massive debate then as well. Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, who you have played alongside with for many years, has questioned the reliability of technology, saying, why have technology when you don't trust it? Do you agree with his perspective on the current use of technology?
Yes, I definitely agree with what Sunny has said there, right? And now it is again, it's the matter of what I had said earlier also. The entire series till date has been erratic in various forms. So this is where I said also, you cannot trust the technology as well, whether you mean it or not, whether it has been inadvertent or it has been deliberate. We cannot question this probably in the spur of the moment. All these things have to be sorted out probably after the entire series is over. But all said and done, I think the players should accept all these shortcomings which has taken place during this series altogether.
Right.
And hoping that everything is solved out amicably between the two teams to ascertain the gentlemanness of this great game of cricket, which has its glorious uncertainties.
Right, absolutely. Glorious uncertainties are fine, sir, but this Australia series has seen a lot of back and forth. The Australian media has been very rough with the Indian players. We've seen, some videos coming out where the Australian crowds have been chanting slogans against Virat Kohli, calling him all sorts of cuss words, so on and so forth. What do you make of all of this? Because is this aggression a part of the sport, you'd say? Because Australia has been critical of the manner in which Virat had a on-field bump with one of the Australian players, and that has sparked off a huge series of debates. How do you view this entire thing?
Well, you see, now it is, I cannot just pinpoint at one point, okay, or one button. There have been, it has to be an incidences which has sparked off the fire into the stands as well, into the public as well, into the social media as well. And in the stands, all these slogans, all these things do take place. You see, in our time also, when there was the same Melbourne ground when Sunny Gavaskar was given out. In those days, there was no third umpire, by the way, and there was Sunny just was so upset.
Right.
Okay, and he was taking Chetan Chauhan back into the pavilion, conceding the match. You see, I had to push my manager saying that, let Sunny go back. Please take him back and to continue the game. And fortunately for us, you see, we won that test match. So always, honesty and sincerity helps an individual as well as a team, as well as whoever.
Right.
So these are the things which has to be accepted in the right spirit of the game, as I mentioned. I think this has to be taken in the right spirit.
Okay. Also, there are reports coming in of Team India captain Rohit Sharma, who retired from T20 internationals after winning the 2024 T20 World Cup. He has reportedly made up his mind to retire from Test cricket as well. Do you believe that this decision, if I had to meet me earlier, the outcome of the recent matches might have been different?
Well, you see, now it is up to the players to decide when they should be retiring and when they should come out of this scenario. So you cannot, now there have been instances where it was put into the newspapers, into the media or in the social media, being critical about certain senior players, telling them it's high time you guys retire, which is not right, actually. You should leave the decision to the players and the board of control of different countries to take a call on this and wait for the individual to call it a day or whatever.
Observers have seen this, have cited the statistics that in the last 7 test matches, India has won just 1 match, and that too not under Rohit's captaincy. So there are those who believe that it's time for Rohit to hand over the leadership baton to Jasprit Bumrah. Do you agree with them?
Well, this is what I conveyed just now. Okay, why they should leave the decision to the umpire. No doubt Virat Kohli as well as Rohit Sharma are not in greatest of the reforms. You see, this comes to every individual as well as a team. So this is how it has to be taken, Madhav, and this is how one should accept also. Because we forget the good times, the good performances, the triumphs which the captain of the team has taken the Indian team to the highest levels.
Right.
So when the bad time comes, the criticism starts automatically.
True.
So you have to accept this, and leave it to the player.
Let me also talk about some of the aspects that in the book you've recently written about the famous partnership with Kapil Dev during the 1983 World Cup match against Zimbabwe. You've said that that partnership with Kapil was such a turning point, not just in the match, but in my career. When you went to the crease, what was the first talk between you two in the middle of the ground, and how did that really go on from there?
All right. You see, now the 83 movie has a different story of that match. Very little was shown in a different way. Particularly by the only one little sentence was told to what do you call Ranveer, who acted as
Kapil
as captain. And what's the name? So anyway, the wicketkeeper who was there, he just said, "Marna hai to maar ke marna." That's all he said. But the true fact is that when I went up to Kapil and I told him, he was 50 plus not out probably. I'm not too sure on the stats. But the conversation which took place between me and Kapil at that stage was, "Caps, we are in a do or die situation. Do not worry about it." And immediately Cap said, "Kiri bhai, we have to play 30 overs. Mabala, don't worry. I'll play one delivery, take one run, and you got to not play. You got to hit. You are the best batsman of the Indian team, and do not worry." He said again, 30 overs, Kiri bhai. Mabala, no. I don't worry about that. I have been under a lot of crisis with the Indian team, and I have supported to the best of my ability. All these things were in a very short span, right, which I told Caps, and from there on, it was history.
Can you take us through also some of the other anecdotes that you brought out through the course of your book, during the time that you were playing cricket, and something that would perhaps be inspiring and perhaps even surprising for our viewers as well as cricket buffs?
During the finals, when Balu came in to support me in that last wicket partnership, right, the very first ball which Balu faced, those days the helmets were not of good quality also. There was just that one little visor, if you see the 83 footage, okay, just to cover your temple, that's all. And on top was a very poor quality kind of a thing, which these fast bowlers had gone through and cracked those helmets in England while they were playing county games. So Here, the very first delivery to Ballu was a bouncer. And Ballu, by the time he could wink, it hit him on his helmet, right? And he was seeing stars during daytime. Malcolm came up to Ballu, hey, Naman, I didn't mean to hit you, nah. And Ballu, sense of humor, can you believe this? Nobody would believe this in the middle of the finals, which we are going, crucial finals, okay? Ballu said, hey, Malcolm, he was going away after saying sorry, hey, Malcolm, you think my brain is up here? No, man, it is in my knees, he said. You see, this is an anecdote which I have mentioned in that book.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kirmani. Very interesting to hear, of course, those tales of the 83 and the World Cup campaign as far as India's team is concerned. And thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your perspectives and experiences.
Yes.